Hello and welcome to the Seth Joyner Show. The A.J. Brown-less Eagles fell to the Atlanta Falcons in the most auspicious of manners last Monday night at the Link. Jalen Hurts, in many ways, had to hoist the offense on his shoulders to keep the Birds in the game. And the double Achilles heel of the defense, the inability to stop the run and the lack of pass rush, did the Eagles in their home opener. It's time for my breakdown. Against the Falcon teams everyone thought to be a sure win, the Eagles' inefficiencies and flaws were on full display in front of a full national audience. The Birds found out on Friday that a hamstring injury would render A.J. Brown inactive for Monday night's game. But it was everyone's belief that they had more than enough weapons and ammo to get the job done, no less. How wrong we all were. After being dismantled by the Steelers in Week 1, the Falcons rolled into Philly and exposed the weaknesses of this 24 Eagles team. Starting with the defense, the run defense was a big question mark after the Packers racked up 163 yards on the ground last week. The Birds' defense had to be better against Bijan Robinson and this Falcons rushing attack. What we learned is that the Eagles' run defense will be a problem all year long. Robinson bruised and battered the Eagles' D in the first half for 72 yards on 10 carries. That's 7.2 yards per carry. For a Week 1 anemic Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson would be a godsend until he could find his footing in the second half. Cousins is a quarterback who struggles under pressure, and the run game behind Robinson would allow him a level of comfort. Once they established the run game, play-action passing afforded him pocket protection to post 148 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half alone. The chess match between the Falcons' offensive coordinator and Eagles DC Vic Fangio raged all second half. When the Birds defense struggled stopping Robinson and backup Tyler Algier, Fangio went to a 5-man front. The Falcons countered by passing the ball versus a weakened pass defense. When the Birds reverted to their 4-man line, the Falcons in turn ran the ball, amassing 152 yards on 28 carries, providing Cousins the ability to keep the defense off balance all game. Coupled with the Eagles' inability to get a pass rush, this created big problems for the defense in the second half once Cousins got into a passing rhythm. If they don't get this fixed, it will be a long, hard season for the Birds' defense. On the offensive side of the ball, the Eagles got off to another slow start, especially without A.J. Brown in the lineup. It's pretty evident now just how important he is to everything that they do. The Birds' offense only managed a paltry 70 yards passing and 94 yards rushing, which Jalen Hurts accounted for 51 yards of scrambling, and Saquon Barkley gained only 37 yards on the ground on 8 carries in the entire first half. That's simply just not enough touches for Saquon. He is one of the most pivotal pieces in this offense. They were only 1 for 5 on third downs and 1 for 2 in the red zone as well. Not the output anyone had envisioned. I believed that Brown being inactive gave the Eagles offense a great opportunity to incorporate Dallas Goedert into the offense and finally get Jahan Dotson involved. Between the two, they had 4 catches for 44 yards. The offense did not seem to have any continuity that they possessed in Week 1. Jalen ran the ball 14 times in this game, far too much for your franchise quarterback, and had to create far more by scrambling than running a smooth operation from the pocket. The Eagles in the second half was improved, though, while converting on 5 of 8 third downs. Most importantly, they converted only 1 of 3 of their red zone opportunities. They put together decent drives in the second half with drives of 11 plays, 17 plays, and 11 plays, which yielded only 13 points. That final drive was the backbreaker, though, as Barkley dropped the wide-open pass in the flat that could have sealed the game via a touchdown or at least a first-and-goal situation at the minimum. The Birds were forced to take a 29-yard Jake Elliott field goal, leaving the Falcons with 1 minute and 39 seconds to go on a 6-play, 70-yard Cousins-led drive to seal the win 22-21. A disappointing loss, no doubt, versus a Falcon team that they could have and should have beat. That's my breakdown. When I come back, my pre- and post-game co-host, Marc Farzetta, will join me to break down the Eagles' next opponent and the offensively potent and defensively disruptive New Orleans Saints.
Bet Parks. Most people don't know how to get the care they need. The experts at Stay at Home Care can help. Before choosing a caregiver or family member for your care, you need to apply for the Home Care Program. The application process can be complicated. Stay at Home Care can help you navigate through every step. Once approved, your caregiver or family member will receive guaranteed weekly pay, a variety of medical benefits options, paid holidays, paid vacation, and overtime pay. Call Stay at Home Care, here to help every step of the way.
I'm in that mode. Stick to the code. I'm in my zone. Let's go. I'm back in my bag. I'm wrecking the wins and it's making them.
You've got your Sunday obsession, and we got you. Now with Verizon, get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV on us and get every out-of-market Sunday game. Plus $800 off Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
See you Sunday.
At Pond Lehocky Giordano, we understand the impact an injury can have on your life. Our experienced attorneys have recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we know we can do the same for you. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family-owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come, join our team.
This segment is brought to you by Pond Lehocky. Welcome back. Say hello to my pre- and post-game show co-host and host of the Farzetta Show at FarzettaShow.com, Marc Farzetta. Farzetta, I hope you're doing a lot better today than we were on Monday night.
Me too. Still recovering. Not exactly looking forward to the Saints, but I'm in that in-between moment where maybe I'll talk myself into some optimism.
And the Birds lose in heartbreaking fashion to the Falcons as Cousins escorts this team 6 plays, 70 yards down the field in a minute and 5 seconds to snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat. What's your biggest takeaway from the Monday night loss?
That Vic Fangio and this defense was extremely disappointing. This was supposed to be, if there's any game where you're supposed to rack up some sacks even without being all that aggressive, this was supposed to be it. And they couldn't do anything. Your speed guys off the edge couldn't do anything. The one guy that was able to step up and make a play in the backfield for a sack was Milton Williams, and that didn't come until the 3rd quarter. When you know you're not getting home in the first half, I want to see adjustments made in the second half to make sure you're applying pressure to Kirk Cousins.
The Eagles, to your point, have some major issues. They can't stop the run. They can't generate a pass rush. It's non-existent. Do you see any remedy on the horizon for this defense?
I think it has to come down, again, to Vic Fangio. He has to put these players, as every coach seems to say nowadays, in a better position to make plays. Jordan Davis isn't all of a sudden just going to figure it out. Jalen Carter isn't all of a sudden going to start rattling off sacks left and right. And I don't see Milton Williams on his way to a 10-sack season for an interior defensive lineman. This is going to have to come down to scheme. It's going to have to come down to aggression, and that's where I look directly at Vic Fangio. I say, now the challenge is on you. Not only do you have to correct the run defense, but you also have to find a way to dial up some of that pressure that we saw in the preseason and even in week 1 in Brazil against the Packers.
Let's talk about the offense. They can't seem to find any continuity in their offense from week 1 to week 2. Is it the play of Jalen? Is it the play call, Kellen Moore? Was it the absence of A.J. Brown or a combination of the 3?
A.J. Brown's a phenomenal player, but it still comes down to having pretty talented players that were out there. Devontae Smith's a pretty good player. Dallas Goedert is a pretty good player. The Eagles barely used him up until the final drive of the game, the final possession of the game, really. So for me, I think it comes down to just knowing how to utilize the talent. And let's not forget about Saquon Barkley going out there and being able to run through that offensive line and get to that next level against this Falcons team. Really, I think it comes down to understanding what Kellen Moore's goal is going to be as far as making sure, whether it's the last play of the Eagles offense in the game, of Jalen Hurts not throwing that interception, being able to go for it or just put the points up in their second possession of the game in the first quarter, or whether that is that final play the Eagles had in their own red zone or in the red zone where they elected to pass to Saquon Barkley as opposed to just running up the middle, knowing that the Falcons had no timeouts. There is so many things you can look at in this game that were, again, a big piece of that mistake pie made by the Eagles.
So quickly, things are going to get any better for the Eagles. They got back-to-back road games versus the high-powered Saints and the Bucs to follow that. Is there any light at the end of the tunnel for this team right now?
Right now, I want to fall back on the idea of talent, but Seth, we kept on hearing it's not just about talent anymore. It's about playing together. It's about execution and all that stuff. They got some talent on this team, more talent than they did last year, at least at the skilled positions. I would love to think that they're just going to be able to click it into high gear, but the bottom line is if the other team's able to control long, sustained drives throughout the game, and they're not able to get off the field defensively, and this bend but don't break defense starts to get some more cracks in it with more regularity, well, then it's going to be a tough offense to keep up with here. I would love to be able to preach some optimism, but seeing the lack of adjustments in week 2, it's hard to say that when you're especially going to go up against Alvin Kamara on a short week.
Well, that being said, I guess I know the answer to this last question. How do you see the outcome of this Saints game?
For me, look, if you can't control a guy like Alvin Kamara, who can beat you in so many different ways, and a guy like Derek Carr could just downshift into a game manager and be that point guard that so many quarterbacks, including Jalen Hurts, talk about, then I don't see how all of a sudden you're going to be able to stop a guy like him from running all over you, the way you saw with Josh Jacobs, the way you saw especially in that first half in particular when you watched a guy like Bijan Robinson go after you. It's going to be a tall order for this Eagles defensive line, and then the linebackers as well, stepping up, plugging them holes, and you sure as heck cannot have the missed tackles that you had in the secondary. And as much as I love Chauncey Gardner-Johnson stepping up and plugging that gap on fourth down and giving his offense a great chance to put the game away, there was still another missed tackle deep in the secondary from him by Mooney that led to another touchdown. At the end of last year, you constantly heard we got to correct the mistakes. It's these mistakes. It's the details that Kobe Dean talked about after this past game against the Falcons. And yet there we were at the end of the year going, wow, look, the same mistakes that were fixable were never fixed. And now we're going into week 3 of the following year, Seth, seeing the same types of mistakes.
Farzetta, listen, man, it's always good to have you on the show. Thanks for your time and your input, my friend. I'll see you Sunday as the Birds try to bounce back against the New Orleans Saints. All righty then. After this break, Brad Feinberg joins me to talk fantasy and betting picks for Week 3's matchups.
You've got your Sunday obsession, and we got you. Now with Verizon, get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV on us and get every out-of-market Sunday game. Plus $800 off Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
See you Sunday.
The Excite Center at Parx Casino, the region's hottest live entertainment venue. Check out your favorite concerts, comedy, boxing, MMA, all at the #1 casino in Pennsylvania. Don't miss Funny Man JB Smoove on Saturday, September 14th, plus Straight No Chaser on Friday, October 18th. Don't miss these 2 exciting headliners, only at the Excite Center inside Parx Casino. Parx Casino, this is how you win. This is how you win. Tickets on sale now.
And the next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital bed.
Has a friend ever told you a story about an accident and someone says,
you should probably sue them.
forget your friend. Call Ponley Hockey Giordano.
We're an injury law firm that's recovered billions of dollars for our clients.
And with our vast network of attorneys throughout the country, we know we can do the same for you.
So if you've been injured in an accident, give Ponley Hockey a call.
One conversation is all it takes, and you won't pay a dime until we win.
This is Seth Joyner, top analyst for the Birds. I've also analyzed the best auto dealerships, and I drive a Davis Honda.
Get to Davis Honda now and fall into savings. Lease a new 2024 Prologue EV for just $299 per month. See why Davis Honda continues to win outstanding awards for sales and service, including the highest award from Honda, the President's Award, 2 years in a row. Fall into savings right now at Davis Honda. Feel the Davis difference at Davis Honda in Burlington.
I'm Seth Joyner, and I drive a Davis Honda.
At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional-grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
This segment is brought to you by Bet Parks. Welcome back. Brad Feinberg now joins me to help you with your fantasy and betting picks for Week 3. Follow Brad at Brad's Best Bets on X. Brad, tough loss for the Eagles. Really tough loss.
Yeah, Seth, that was, it's funny. They had so many losses last year where they were getting blown out at the end of the year, and it was a different kind of feeling. But, man, that was just awful watching that game Monday night, a game they really should have won. But, Seth, we talked about analytics can sometimes make you or break you, and I thought Sirianni's decision-making really cost the team. But, listen, onward and upward, and hopefully they can beat New Orleans this week.
Hopefully. Okay, so on the fantasy side of things this week, give us your top players in defense for Week 3.
I'm going to give you some underrated players, Seth, I like. I'm going to start at quarterback. Geno Smith, not being priced in the top 15, going against a very average Miami defense, Seth. He has 3 really good wide receivers. I'm going to take my chances. Running back-wise, I love Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, to me, Seth, gotten 33 carries in 2 games. Tajay Spears, the co-running back with him, is injured. I love him very, very much, not being priced in the top 15. I think Tony Pollard is one of the best bets on the entire board. Wide receiver, this one may surprise you. I'm going to go LA Rams wide receiver Demarcus Robinson. He's not being priced in the top 40, okay, so he's dirt cheap. And here's the thing. Stafford's a great quarterback, Seth. He has to throw the ball to someone. No Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. Someone has to get the ball. I say it's Demarcus Robinson. He's really cheap. And then last, defense, Seth. Love the Tennessee Titans. To me, Malik Willis is as bad as any starting quarterback in the NFL right now. He played for this Titans team. They know him. They're being priced outside the top 15. I'm calling this, Seth. I think they have a chance to be the #1 defense the entire week.
All right, Brad. So give me your defense and players that you're fading for Week 3.
Well, look, so here's a great player that I'm fading. Justin Herbert is absolutely terrific. He's actually being priced as the 15th most expensive quarterback. You may say, wow, that's not even that high. But you know what, Seth? I think it's still too high. We have a Charger team that just loves to run the ball going against an elite Steelers defense. Herbert can't pass this year. He has no weapons. I don't see it. No interest in Justin Herbert. Running back-wise, Kieran Williams was the 2nd highest scoring player last year behind Christian McCaffrey, Seth. But you know what? This Rams team is injured. They're injured bad. Kieran Williams does not look good. He's the 4th most expensive running back going against San Francisco in a game they may be trailing. No thank you. No interest in him. Receiver-wise, Jaden Reed. He's being priced as the 20th most expensive quarterback. You heard me talking about the quarterback play for this team, for Green Bay. Without Jordan Love, without Love equals no good for Jaden Reed and company. I'm not paying for him with Malik Willis. No thanks, no way. I am fading any Green Bay receiver. And defensively, Seth, look, we watched the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday against the Saints give up 44 points. 5th most expensive defense this week going against the MVP Lamar Jackson. No thank you.
All right, Brad. Week 2 was upset central across the board in the NFL. Yeah. Almost 5 or 6 of the top teams went down. Give us your top 4 betting picks for Week 3.
Well, Seth, look, Week 1, I was off last week. Week 1, we did go undefeated. So, look, that parlay would have hit, Seth. Hopefully we can do it again this week. I'm going to start you off, Seth, with an early game. The New York Jets are going against the Patriots. Now, I know the Jets have not looked good with Aaron Rodgers so far, been disappointing. I know the Patriots have actually looked better than everyone expected. But you know what, Seth? At home, big home crowd that opening night for this Jets team. I say the Jets win the game by at least a touchdown. They're laying 6.5. I say they take care of business. Seth, it's funny, 2 of my favorite teams going into the year, and 2 teams I bet their overs on, were the Minnesota Vikings and the Houston Texans. They're playing each other this week. Two teams I'm very bullish on, but I like this week. I like the Texans laying 2.5. Well, I last week thought the Vikings were going to beat the Niners, and they did. I think the Texans are a really, really good team. I love the infrastructure, the way this team is. Defensively, they're sound. Great quarterback. I think they should be laying at least a field goal. As much as I respect Minnesota and the way Darnold's playing for them and their offensive line set, I say the Texans get the job done here. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points. Seth, I'm going to give you a total in the game. The LA Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders, they've moved so many times. Las Vegas Raiders, Seth, are playing the Carolina Panthers. Now, I give Carolina credit. They showed some real guts by benching Bryce Young, but I don't think it's enough. I'm going to go under 41 points, Seth, in a game where Carolina just can't score, and the Raiders are no great shakes themselves. I say this one goes under 41. And my last play of the game, Seth, I like the Tennessee Titans. You heard me talk about it. I think Malik Willis is awful, like really bad. And I think the Titans have played 2 straight games they should have won. Now they're at home, laying less than the field goal. I say they beat this Green Bay team by at least 3.
Brad, it's great to have you back, man. I appreciate your picks.
Appreciate you, buddy. I'll see you next week.
Download the BetParx app. Like me, you love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. Coming up next, my closing thoughts and predictions for the Eagles versus the Saints in the Superdome on Sunday.
And the next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital bed.
Has a friend ever told you a story about an accident and someone says,
You should probably sue them.
Forget your friend. Call Pond Hockey Giordano.
We're an injury law firm that's recovered billions of dollars for our clients. And with our vast network of attorneys throughout the country, we know we can do the same for you. So if you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Hockey a call.
One conversation is all it takes, and you won't pay a dime until we win.
You've got your Sunday obsession, and we got you. Now with Verizon, get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV on us and get every out-of-market Sunday game. Plus $800 off Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
See you Sunday.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges, from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at Ron Jaworski Parks.
Most people don't know how to get the care they need. The experts at Stay at Home Care can help. Before choosing a caregiver or family member for your care, you need to apply for the Home Care program. The application process can be complicated. Stay at Home Care can help you navigate through every step. Once approved, your caregiver or family member will receive guaranteed weekly pay, a variety of medical benefits options, paid holidays, paid vacation, and overtime pay. Call Stay at Home Care, here to help every step of the way.
This segment is brought to you by Verizon Communications. Welcome back. The Eagles have some major concerns on both sides of the ball. They're about to face one of the fastest and most aggressive defenses in the National Football League. They're riding high after demolishing the Panthers and the Cowboys in successive weeks. The task seems even more daunting with the absence of star A.J. Brown at wide receiver for yet another week at least. The Browns struggled on the ground versus the Falcons early, and Jalen Hurts had to revert to scrambling to make plays. This Saints defense will look to control the run early and force Jalen to operate from the pocket and feed off of its own offense that's posted 91 points through the first 2 games of the season. We know that with Saquon Barkley and one of the best O-lines in the National Football League, the Eagles can run on anyone if they commit to it. But the way that Derek Carr and this Saints offense has dominated, the Birds are going to have to match the Saints offense putting up points. And after struggling to post 21 points last week, we're all wondering if that's possible. Kellen Moore has to get back to calling a game that allows Jalen to operate more effectively and efficiently. The Birds can ill afford to get behind the sticks with penalties and negative plays against this Saints defense. This Saints defense can get after the quarterback, and they aggressively fly to the football. Without Brown's services, Jalen has to, in my opinion, spread the ball around to all of his weapons. The obvious play is to take away Devontae Smith. But who will gain the confidence of Jalen Hurts and step up? Dallas Goedert seems to be the obvious option, but for some reason, Moore and Hurts don't seem to see his viability. And it looks as though Hurts doesn't trust the rest of his weapons. In my opinion, the offense will need to play a near perfect game in order to have a chance at winning this game. On defense, the weakness of the Birds is their inability to stop the run and get a pass rush versus this vaunted Saints offense. This could be the kiss of death. Clint Kubiak, offense coordinator for the Saints, has this offense hitting on all cylinders. Alvin Kamara looks to be the Alvin of old. Derek Carr looks reborn. And the multiple formations, 2 and 3 tight end sets, the versatility of Taysom Hill if he's healthy and can play, and the downfield threat and speed of Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave will be a lot to handle. If there was ever a time for Vic Fangio to come up with an all-world game plan, this will be the week. The Saints offense is averaging 40.5 points per game through the first 2 and look to be unstoppable. The Birds' lack of run defense and pass rush is a recipe for disaster versus Derek Carr under the direction of Kubiak in this multiple Saints offense. The Eagles' defense is still a work in progress, and while they look great on paper, they're simply not where they need to be at this time, not quite yet. The defensive line can't get off blocks or rush the passer well. The linebackers don't read run plays well, fit properly, or get off blocks. The secondary doesn't tackle well and are prone to making mistakes and missing assignments from time to time. A bad omen against a surprising Saints team that is playing with a tremendous amount of confidence right now. This is a monumental challenge that I don't see the Eagles ready to face or overcome. I'm taking the Saints in this game 17-32. That's the show for tonight. I'll see you next week as we look back on the Saints game and look ahead to Week 4